Hi, everybody. Welcome to Tuesday night's therapy session. How y'all doing? Happy Tuesday. Happy Taco
Talk
Tuesday.
about it.
Hey, everybody.
We got a couple interesting topics to cover today. But before we go into what those topics are, I want to introduce everybody. We got JT in the middle.
That's right. Ready to go in battle. Let's talk about it.
And first of all, let me introduce myself because I never introduced myself. Cecily, the host. How y'all doing? Hello, hello, hello. We got Jackie, Lady Fox, Lady Foxy.
Hi,
Girl, say what your name is.
Lady Foxy J.
We got OG in the corner. As he takes himself off mute.
There you go. I'm off mute, y'all. Hey, how y'all doing?
And lastly, we've got a special guest this week who jumped on last week to discuss hip hop with us. That's ready to tackle this topic we're going to talk about this week. We got my girl KP.
Hey, KP.
So we're going to jump right into it. We've got two topics we want to discuss tonight. I'm going to start with the first one, which is going over Bishop T.D. Jakes' comment, or more or less a blurb or a piece from his sermon, where he was basically saying that women are raising. Okay, let me make sure I'm saying this right. That we're raising women to be men. Just kind of want to talk about that. One of the things he was saying in the actual sermon, or the blurb that was actually shown on YouTube or whatnot, was him basically saying that we are raised to kind of do what a man is supposed to do, and we kind of brag about that. We kind of celebrate that, and it's actually not anything to celebrate. And I'm just paraphrasing, just for sake of this. So I did watch the sermon. I did, tune into it. I watched it twice. I understand. I kind of figured he wasn't going in the direction that the blurb was actually trying to advertise, or kind of make it look like he was trying to say something, that was too terrible. But I do agree with what he says. And I think there's a reason behind it. A lot of times we as women have to do what we got to do because we don't necessarily have men in the house. We got to hold it down. We got to take care of things. We still got dreams and goals. And unfortunately, we are raising children a lot of times by ourselves, and we're raising them to be independent and not necessarily going in the direction of being, wives or feminine. We raise them on survival, because until you're married, you will be alone and you will be taking care of yourself, and you have to survive. Or if you are married and something happens and you got to get in there and get in the trenches, you got to be ready for it. So I'm not 100% against what Bishop said, actually, at all. What I want to talk about is everybody's opinion on it, and then what do we do? Like, how do we resolve or remedy the situation? So we'll go ahead and jump in and start with JT.
Boy, I'm telling you, man. As soon as somebody say something about the women, y'all just go straight to the Republican road. Y'all get so defensive. You know what I mean? Like, why not, man? So we know that a lot of y'all are taking place of the things that men used to do. Can we agree on that? You know what I mean? Like, predominantly men used to do a lot of things that women are doing now. So when he said that basically, I think when I watched the sermon, he was saying that men like to pour into women, but women now are coming home and saying that they don't need this, they don't need that, they don't need a man, they don't need a man for this, and a man doesn't know what to do because he doesn't have nothing to pour into her, because she's saying that she has everything. That's it. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I get the quote where he's saying that we're raising women to be men, but I don't think it's literal. Meaning that, I mean, like, you're not, I mean, I'm sure you're not taking them out to, well, I don't even know if you can say you take them out to play football, because if you say that women play football too. So I don't know. You know what I mean? I agree with his statement, man, and I think that we just, I mean, like, sometimes, man, we got to get off the men versus women thing, go for the reality of what's really happening.
Okay. I always say that. I hate the men versus women conversations, because it's never men versus women. It's always human versus human. So when you look at it, in my opinion, from that perspective, now you get to look at the character and the actual person and what they're bringing to the table versus their gender, right? So I agree. I just don't want it to be a situation where, I don't think it was necessarily anything where women were taking offense. We were agreeing, but this kind of a topic can turn into a attack on women. Women are this and women are that. And see, this is what I'm talking about. So we gotta. I don't necessarily want to see this conversation go in that direction because I know for a fact that's not where he was trying to go. So I kind of agree with you, and I kind of agree with you, Jackie.
So I think my take is what I heard JT say, that the topic is a little taboo because, again, some women will take offense. But JT said that the words that he used or the context that he placed it was not to be taken literally.
Right.
Okay, so that is the issue. I totally agree with the concept, right? Because we're in a new age. A lot of women are in single parent households. So a lot of women are taking on certain responsibilities that, i.e., for example, I think they should not have to, right? But because they have to, they're standing in the gap of placement that they do not have, right? So therefore, when JT said that the offense should not be taken literal, I can actually counter that and say the offense should not be taken literally when a woman says she doesn't need a man, right? Because it's not literal, right? It means that a woman has to do things on herself. That woman has to be independent when she doesn't have one. It doesn't mean that she's demoralizing the place of a man, because of course, if she had one, then she would want that man to stand up. But if she does not have a man, therefore she has to be taught to take care of herself. She has to be taught to pay her bills. She has to be taught and shown how to raise her kids. She has to be taught how to stand in the gap. She has to be taught to how to do what certain people would consider manly things. So I just don't think it should be taken literally. But again, I agree with the fact that, a man should have a place to pour into a woman, and a woman should have a place to have a man to be poured into. But if that is not the case, then that woman has to pour into herself.
You got to do what you got to do, and that's where you have to exert independence until you meet the person that you can kind of back down and give that responsibility to. Craig?
What?
Okay. I don't know, man. I'm feeling real argumentative today. We can drink one more time.
Well, there's no reason to argue. We're just discussing opinions and discussing results. So
I don't know what's the real discussion, because I mean, if it was the other way around, would we be saying the same thing?
Because we just said that it should not be taken literally, and no one is trying to demoralize anyone.
Right.
Oh, so that's it. So then will we be having this conversation?
Yes.
Yeah.
There are men out there that's doing the same thing.
Right. There are men out there that have to be the wives, the mothers, the caretakers to their daughters. They're raising kids out there by themselves as well. They shouldn't have to, but they haven't met the woman that they can bring in. So they got to do what they got to do. It's the same. It's no different man versus man. Like I said, it's not men versus women. It's human versus human. His topic was about, if you watch the sermon, it was about pouring the man's role.
Man, you know I'm gonna watch that whole sermon. They screaming out scriptures and all that stuff, man.
Well, that's probably why you're kind of argumentative, because he kind of explained it up until he actually talked about that particular section. So that's probably why you're all up in arms about it. But what is your thought on that?
I told you I'm lost. Once he started shooting out scriptures and stuff like that, I mean, I'm not a big fan. So it's like, I tried to watch it because y'all said watch it. I started getting dizzy and stuff. I wasn't feeling good watching it. Okay. Jackie, do you know I can see your face?
I hope you can see mine. AP, what's your thoughts?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Is he finished or is he done?
Oh, I'm done. I
hope he finished and done.
You weren't the only one.
Okay. My thoughts are women aren't being raised to be men. Okay. I was born in the 70s, raised in the 80s. So how he's the targeting area, the target group that TD Jakes was probably trying to hit is the generation that's underneath me. However,
Definitely.
I was raised to, of course, cook, to clean, to tend to the house, and make sure that the children are taken care of and things of that nature. How to put together an entertainment center, how to change your oil, how to tell when your tire needs to be changed and things in that nature. And you know who taught me that? My mother and my father. And who taught my mother that? Her father. My mother was born in the 50s, and she lived in a two-parent household. And her father taught all of his girls how to do these things in the event that once they move out on their own, if they are ready to move out prior to marriage, they know how to function in society. This is what her father, a man who was born in the 1920s, told her in 1960, 1965, somewhere around there, when she was a teenager in high school. So I don't know that I fully agree with what Bishop was saying, simply because, like I said, we're not being raised to do men's jobs. We're raised to be functional. Yes.
Yep.
Because, and I understand that Craig doesn't like scriptures and things of that nature, but as a Christian, I'm sorry, I do have to reference it.
Say what you want to say.
Say what you want to say.
I do apologize.
No, you don't have to.
Don't
No
apologize.
need. No need to apologize.
The Bible does state that when a man finds a wife, he shall leave his mother and father, and unto his wife he shall cleave. So until he cleaves unto his wife, if the wife is in a home with a whole bunch of people, like mother, father, sister, brother, sister, brother, brother, and she just needs space, she moves out. What is she supposed to do? She doesn't want to rely on the system. She's not about to have every Tom, Dick, and Harry coming in and out of her house. So she has to know how to be able to do certain things, unfortunately. And Bishop should know better. Because,
Hold on. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
because when he met Sarah, she was self-sufficient herself. Now, she was able to submit unto him because she knew that he had a mission and a purpose.
Yes.
Way back when they first started their church, many, many years ago. Not Sarah. I think Sarita is his wife.
Sarita. Yes, Sarita.
Right. Yes. When they started their church many, many years ago. But his wife is an intelligent woman, and she had her own when he met her.
See, this is exactly what I'm talking about. This is exactly what I'm saying. That has nothing to do with the quote that he's saying. I was in a two-parent household, and my mother and my father showed me how to cook.
Right.
Showed me how to do everything and showed me how to shoot through the tires. And I'm not saying that women shouldn't know how to do those things, but I think what he's saying is that when a woman does know how to do all of those things, she doesn't have to come in and tell the man, I don't need you. I don't need you. So I know how to cook. I'm not going to tell the woman I don't need you. Because my mama told me how to cook. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is that what he's saying is that men want to pour in. Our natural habitat is to fix things.
So with that being said, you have an issue with the fact that women are more or less have our guard up, and we already letting you know from the jump what we don't need from you. So as a woman, as a man coming to a woman like that, how do you get past something like that? Because a lot of times women are like that for a reason.
No, here's the answer to the question. As a man, I think when you're coming into a relationship or any kind of partnership or any type of togetherness, we're not going to talk about what we don't need from each other. You know what I'm saying? As far as like, yo, I can walk in and say, yo, I got plenty of cash. I got my own car. I got my own house. I know how to cook. So what is it that you're going to do for me? What can you do for me? How is that relationship going to last? How does that make that woman feel? You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, I went through something before with the last girl. You know what I'm saying? I got to try to clean the slate and start anew. If I want something that, you know, I want to treat somebody the way I want to be treated. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to come in and tell you all my accolades and tell you that I don't need you for any of those things. Because basically what you're saying, what I be saying to a woman, if I tell a woman that I got my own car, my own job, my own house, I know how to cook, I know how to do all of these things, then, but if I didn't have my own car, my own house, my own car, all of these things, then I would need you. That's basically what a person is saying. You know what I'm saying? And what I'm saying is that,
but I'm trying to figure out how to formulate it. So I got a question about that. Go ahead, though.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that why do we have to go into the point of these things? I think basically what he was saying was that men just want to be able to do things for their woman. And if the woman is coming with her guards up saying, I don't need you for shit, then how can I love this woman? How could I pour into her?
KP?
Yes. All right. I do want to point out that men in my particular dating pool, which is between 43 and 50, they actually do ask women, what do you bring to the table?
I've been asked that on several.
What does that got to do with anything?
I think it should be asked.
You should be asked?
So, okay, hold on.
And vice versa.
Hold on.
Women don't ask that.
We do. So that's my point. Like what KP is saying was actually what I was actually trying to figure out how to ask you. Like I too date between 43 and 53, 54, somewhere in there. And the guys that I talk to ask me what I bring to the table. They ask me about my education level. They ask me about whether or not I own a home, where I work. And I ask those same questions back in return. So I don't understand why you shouldn't ask those questions.
I didn't say you shouldn't ask those questions.
No, hold on.
Hold on. Need you.
Hold on. And the reason that I brought that up is because why are you asking the woman that if you are coming into the relationship wanting to be able to pour into her? It shouldn't matter what she is bringing to the table if you don't care what she had.
So
you gotta know what I'm working with.
What are you talking? Are you kidding me? I need to know what I can pour into you. You know what I mean? I'm not going to teach you how to cook if you already know how to cook.
But I
gotta ask those things. I gotta know. I'm not saying what I'm saying is when y'all come to the table and you say, well, I don't. You're saying basically what I'm saying with a person is saying, I do not need you for this and I don't need you for that because I already got it.
So how do you get to that point with a woman though? Like how are you getting to the point where you're with women? It sounds like they have their defenses up to the point where they're coming at you like that. Because a normal woman, y'all help me if I'm wrong, we don't come at you like that.
Exactly.
And be like, I got my own house. I don't need you for shit.
Yes, they do.
Women
every single one of us has said that.
Are just coming off the bat like that. That's what I want.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, I don't come off the. I really don't think that I'm an exception, but I don't do that. For one, because I date with intention.
Right.
So I don't. That's one of the questions that I don't answer. Like, what do you bring to the table? I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. That's how I respond.
I think I'll tell you what I bring to the table, and I'll tell you what
I bring to the table.
And
No. I don't respond to them because I know what I have.
Right.
But I want to know that I'm not going to be a turnoff to them. If I start listing all of this stuff, that's why you have to take time getting to know people. Let people talk. Let people talk, and they'll automatically let you know what it is you're trying to find out without having to probe.
Yeah,
this is the problem with how people date nowadays. They want to go firing off question after question after question instead of having casual conversations and going on actual dates and things in that nature. Don't
Right.
ask these questions right at the onset, because you don't even know if you like this person. So now they're sitting up here giving you all this information. You're giving them all this information, and then a few days down the road, y'all don't even like each other, but then you know where they work, you know how much money they make. Well, maybe not how much money they make, and so on and so forth. For what? For what?
Dating is an
Can I answer?
Oh, sure.
Dating is an informational process.
Right. But you don't do all of that at the onset, though. People are starting to do stuff like that between the first and the second date. Why?
Jackie, go ahead.
So I just don't think that, I personally don't think that everything is so literal. I've never personally had a conversation with someone who specifically just blurted out what you bring to the table. But the questions and as KP said, we're dating with a purpose, with intention. So we are having these conversations, right? It's not going to be the first date or the second date or the third date, but we are going to have these conversations. And by all means, the purpose of these conversations is to get to the nitty-gritty of knowing what that person brings to the table. It has never been brought to me as such literal words, but the purpose of these conversations is to get to that. So I don't think it's anything wrong to have these conversations, because in order to date someone, you have to get to know them. You have to get to know them with intention. You have to get to know where they work, how much they make. You have to get to know, who they are as a person, where are their goals, where are their morals. You have to get to know, the phrase, what do they bring to the table? Because if they don't bring to the table what you require, it's not going to be a mutual relationship that's going to work. So in order for you to know those things, those are the conversations that have to be had. But also on the other flip side of that, and it goes both ways, I think the man should have these questions with the woman, and the woman should have these questions with the man to be able to actually get to know them. But the problem that I feel is that I think that we're demoralizing each other. Like, we either feel, women, again, has been had, a lot of women in this new world.
Be careful.
A lot of women, and I'm going to speak of the men too, so I just want to get both of my thoughts out. A lot of women have had to come to terms with being alone. A lot of women have had to come to terms with, doing things on themselves, because the dating pool has shit.
PP in it.
Shit. The dating pool is shit. There's a lot of men who does not even require or put forth the effort because of this new school of dating. It doesn't require a man to do anything, and a lot of women has had to put up this protective shield. And I'm not saying that it's right or wrong, right? Because if that's what they're doing to protect themselves, then by all means they should. I'm not saying that it's right or wrong, but a lot of women have had to put this protective shield up to wean out the boo-boo. There's a lot of shit, and we don't feel like going through that repeatedly. We're trying to spot it out from the beginning. Like, I don't got 3 months to go through bullshit to find bullshit, right? I want to find the bullshit right from date 1, 2, and 3. So I can just know to swipe left or to move on, or this is not what I want. But with retrospect to that, I do feel in that case that there are a lot of women are demoralizing to men. Unfortunately, I do feel that case where, we are saying, there's a lot of women who are saying, I don't need a man because I could do shit for myself. I could pay my bills. The respect of that is, we are supposed to be able to pay our bills. We are supposed to be independent, but that does not mean that we don't need a man. So I think that we should stop saying that, because it's not literal. We started off this whole conversation that what TD Jakes was saying was not literal. So if a woman says, I don't need a man, I think a man should try to think that that's not literal. She's saying that she can take care of herself. She's self-sufficient. She knows how to pay her bills. She knows how to do, which is the same thing that a man can do. He knows how to pay his own bill. He has his own house. But together, what do we bring to the table? I honestly feel like there is nothing wrong with that. It's just how it's taken. It's taken out of context. What do we bring to the table? Because we have to come to this table. I am the goddamn table, right? I bought the table. This table was already here before the man got here. But the purpose is to date. What can we bring to the table together? Because we have to be able to build together. And I think that we should stop taking, personally, I think we should stop taking that literal.
I think that KP and Jackie just said the same thing, and I'm just going to kind of piggyback off of it. In dating, I don't think that you should be asking so many certain. There are certain questions I don't think you need to ask up front. You need
Right.
There are questions you ask up front, and there are questions that you just let as you go on, the questions will come up.
Yeah.
I'm more of a
I feel like you should.
I'm more of an
Ask
action.
them up front.
I ain't really gonna ask you too many questions because you can give me the textbook answer and then do something totally different. So I like to watch you. I like to see how you move. I like to see your character. I pay attention to everything you say. That stuff is, and then as we go along, then we
Yes.
start talking about other things.
Yeah.
I also do think that there are some people who don't want to be in relationships, and that man versus women. There are some women who don't need a man. They don't want one. They're good being single. They fine. And there's nothing wrong with that. There are women out here, generally, when we say we don't necessarily need a man, we've been out here holding it down. We pay our own bills. We make a good living. I do think that sometimes we probably should, like Jackie say, stop saying we don't need one. It's just that you're not a necessity. You're a want. I want you to be in my life, but I don't need, there's no necessity. I'm not going to die a miserable life or anything if I am not in a relationship. But I may want and desire a relationship. And for me,
And when I say, when a person says they don't need a man, it doesn't mean relationship.
Y'all
It
cut me
doesn't mean
off.
relationship.
Y'all cut me off.
Because I want to get that point out that it doesn't mean relationship.
Right. But for
I
me,
still need a man.
I want to be in a relationship with somebody. But if I'm already at a particular level, I need you to come in and take some things off my shoulders, not add burdens on top. And if I feel like you're going to add burdens on top and we're not going to be able to gel together and be a team and have one common goal, I ain't doing it. And I think a lot of women and men are in that situation where they're like, look, this is what I'm doing. And I want teamwork. I want help. I want somebody that can pour in, which is what Bishop was talking about at the beginning of the sermon, where we can pour in and we can nurture each other and help each other grow. Anything that ain't for me.
One more point to piggyback off what you're saying, Cecily. I do believe wholeheartedly that it, to me, possibly, in my opinion, it could possibly stem from a lot of women feel they're not protected. A lot of women feel like they're not, the Black man has systematically not protected the Black women. So they don't feel supported. They don't, so they've had to been, from past relationships or past hurts or whatever. They're not wanted. They've been thrown away, right? So they have put up these shields. They have put up these protective measures to say that what they don't need a man, because they have kind of been forced to. There's a lot of Black men who don't protect, they just have these stereotypes or these, Black women are too hard, they want too much, they're too demanding, because a Black man is lacking in themselves and what this particular woman wants. So they have put up this protective shield where they say they don't need a man. And I would like women to stop saying that.
Craig,
oh man, y'all talk so much. I'm ready, man. I'm trying to get back to what Jackie said from the beginning. Then I gotta go to Cecily, then go. All right, but I agree with Jackie. I think the conversations has to be had. At 51, my last 3 dates been one day quitters. Like, oh no, she gonna told me enough to know. Even though I wouldn't mind doing something to her, but I know a relationship ain't gonna happen, and that's not, what I'm looking for. So I don't know. The conversation definitely got to be had, and why waste time? How much time do we have to waste?
All right, so let's talk about the shield. Let's talk about the shield. So if you go into a relationship, and mind you, I'm not saying literally, like I asked you to come to trials with me And I as soon as we sit down, the first question I ask is, what do you bring to the table? No, that's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
What I'm saying is that, like, if when the shield comes up, do you guys go on a date for 2 months and find out, wait a minute, this dude ain't shit. I
Yeah.
just found out that he ain't shit,
'Cause those
but you
conversations
waited 2
be had.
months.
It's
You know
not,
what I'm
and that's
saying?
not necessarily a bad thing. At least, we
Right.
You have your shield up for the next dude. Now you're gonna wait another. When you meet the next
Well,
dude, you're gonna wait another 2 months.
not everybody has their guard up. I think you mean your guard. Not everybody has their guard up when it comes down to that type of stuff. But yeah, I mean, and see, then we're kind of digging into something else here, because I'm a big contributor to law of attraction. So I feel like what you are inside is what you project out, right? And what you're going to keep getting and getting and getting.
Agreed.
So if I done going on 2 or 3 dates and I keep getting the same damn dude, now I'm gonna have to go back and think to myself,
Right.
doing something wrong. And
Yes.
the same thing with a guy. Like, if you're going on 2 or 3 dates and you getting the same type of woman, at some point you got to take a step back and kind of look at you, because you're only going to project and receive what you are. You can't receive anything better if you haven't fixed or remedied whatever's going on with you.
I had not having the conversation.
Right. I had to have that conversation with myself. And like I said, I took myself off the market for 2 years and started dating in 2021, because I needed to step back and realize I was attracting exactly what I didn't want. And it was because of what wasn't fixed in me. It was my traumas from the past and self-esteem and things that I wasn't confident in standing for. I had to fix that. So a lot of times that's a lot of the problem that we have in dating too. We're dating the same person over and over again, expecting better, and you're not going to get it.
Right.
What Craig said?
Oh, I muted him because the noise was too loud.
What you say,
Oh.
Craig?
Hey, Cecily, I said maybe you just assumed you fixed it.
I know I fixed it.
Oh, so the guys is different now.
Much different.
That you have, okay, that you had before.
Much different.
Okay.
The guys that she's dating that she's allowing.
All right, so what I'm saying is that I think we're a little far off of what TD Jakes was actually
It's
saying.
all in there.
I think we. I think
basically what he was basically saying was that, like, I understand. I think we got off to the tangent of what we always saying that women had to do this because they were single and all of that stuff. Fine, that's what you have to do. When I was single, I had to do it too. But once I get into a relationship, man, we put things one on one together. You know what I mean? Just because I know how to make spaghetti doesn't mean I'm the best spaghetti maker. She might be even know how to make spaghetti better than me. I have to sit back and say, all right, you make it then. Or sometimes I might have to make it anyway because she's not feeling good or whatever. But what I'm saying is I'm never going to tell her I don't need her because I know how to make the spaghetti.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's the point I'm talking about.
What I'm saying is I feel like women should stop doing that.
Yeah, because once we hear it, y'all talking about shields. It's an automatic shield come, and we gotta defend ourselves. You know what I mean? Because
KP, you still on your same page?
I'm
trying to change your mind.
I'm trying to give her a chance to say before I wrap this subject up.
No, what I would love to know with what Bishop was saying was, especially with it coming from, and like I said, I'm a Christian, so I'm going to come from that perspective. That's the perspective that he was coming from. I would like to know when he's saying that women are telling the men, we don't need you, we don't need you, we don't need you. Is that the general population, or is that little pockets here and there? Because and again, I know I'm not an exception. I have other friends who behave the same way. We don't just say, I don't need you. I don't need you. I don't need you. Oh, I don't need you to do that. I don't need you to do that. It's always welcomed when the gentleman that you are dating and you're exclusive with wants to do things for you. Stuff like that doesn't even come out of my mouth. So I don't know who he was basically referencing when he was stating stuff like that. Again, he may be talking about the generation that is underneath us, because This is
I think it was across the board. I don't think it should be projected to a generation in particular because it's women in every one of those generations who actually do that.
Yeah,
So
I think I know there's
To
women
be honest, he did say that we're the generation now we are raising our women to be men. So he wasn't talking about my generation, so to speak, or your generation, so to speak. He's talking about the new generation. But he can't really speak for the whole world. So if you're talking about pockets and stuff like that, he's not speaking for the whole world. I can run. I know a lot of I know a plethora of women that don't do that. They don't come around and say I don't need you for that. It's just a certain few, and I know that there's a lot of them that's young. But there's
older too. I for one have not said that too. But I know. I'm speaking from just a lot of. This is a generation where there's a lot of single women. I know all age spectrums. I know older 60-year-old women who said. I know young 20-year-olds who said. I know 40-year-olds who said. So that's why I'm saying it really shouldn't be coming from. Doesn't matter the pocket. It's just a matter of the context. Where a man should be allowed to pour into a woman. A man should be allowed to take, his rightful place as king. A woman should allow a man to do that. But we also should be able to, stand in our own rights and have our own minds and make our own money. It's a place. It's. I mean, you have to be able to come together first of all. And I don't believe that it's right for a woman to say that. I don't believe it's right for a man to say that. So that's where I'm just coming from that perspective. I don't think that should be said because I don't think a man should be demoralized in any relationship to be said, I don't need you. You know what I mean?
With that being said, we keep talking about the guard. We keep saying that a woman should allow a man in to pour.
A man should be there to pour.
Right. He should pour, she should pour, right? But when you touched on this a couple of minutes ago, and I kind of want to delve into this a little bit, it's always easy to say you got to heal. You got to face your demons. You got to make amends with your past. And a lot of times people have really big guards up because of traumas that they've experienced. So when you're in those situations and you're looking for a relationship and you want a little bit more, but you've got those guards up, what are some ways that women, both men and women, can kind of get around, or what type of, in the dating scene, I guess I should say, when you're seriously courting somebody, what steps should be taken? What could be taken, or what conversations can be had? Because everybody comes with their own traumas and their own everything that's happened before. So it may be easy for you to say, hey, trust me, I'm not going to do that to you. And I might be like, I'm going to try, but let's see, because the last two did this to me, right? Or same thing with men. What kind of conversations can you have to kind of break through with that?
You have to ask what the hell you bring to the table.
I don't know if it's just asking about what you bring to the table. I think
it's not.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm being facetious. Hey, listen.
We know.
Listen, what I'm saying is that you have to get to know a person first and foremost. I want to love somebody, and I don't want to love them because of their finances. I don't want to love them. I want to love them because because of who they are and how they make me feel. You know what I mean? So whether you're coming from McDonald's or you're coming from the corporate world, you know what I mean? I want to love somebody that's going to be my partner, somebody that's going to be with me thick and thin, somebody that's going to be there, handle the parts where I'm weak at, and I can handle the parts where they're weak at. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to put you on a level and say, hey, you got to have this and you got to have that, because if I can help my mate or my partner with something, I'm going to do that. That's just in me. I'm not going to say, well, no, I'm not dating her no more because she doesn't have this and she doesn't have that. You know what I'm saying? And it all depends on what it is that I want. I think it's to each his own. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not, you know what I mean? To be honest with you, I got my guards up. If I think if you're on crack, I'm not messing with you. You know what I'm saying? If you're doing a certain amount of things.
Wait, what? If you do what? What was the first thing you said?
I said there's a certain amount of things I got my guard up. You know what I mean? Like if you're on crack, man, you could be beautiful, but you on crack. You know what I'm saying? Or you snorting coke. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, you have to have those boundaries up. But what I'm saying is when the dating process should be the informational process. We shouldn't even call it a date. We should call it the informational process. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to be with you, sleep with you, hang with you, share all this stuff with you, and then ask you the vital questions that I need in order for you to be with me. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not going to date you for a couple months and find out, oh man, are you kidding me? You cuss your mother out and swing on your mother? No way. No way. I don't want it. I just that's a pet peeve for me. If you cuss your mother out, literally cuss her out and fight her, I don't want that kind of woman.
But okay, because you brought that up a couple times, and I want you to. We're gonna talk about you healing
We
from
need
that.
to expound. Do we need to expound on that?
Yeah, we can. Help me.
Is that a trigger?
You're kind of not really answering the question. You're talking about a different one, which is fine, which I get. But what I'm asking is emotional
Right.
issues, like thick traumas. Like if I come to you and we're dating, and you say, "Hey, I want you to trust me. I would never cheat on you," and I'm struggling. You see that you're dating me, and I'm struggling with that. How do you help me with that? And vice versa. You might come to me and say the same thing. My wife cheated on me, and you're gonna have to bear with me because I'm struggling with this. Like, how do you tackle those type of things when you're dating and courting somebody,
Right.
or do you not tackle them?
All right, so one of the things, man, that you ask, man, like, all right, let's say cheating, right? Like, oh, so you tell me like, yo, your last boyfriend cheated on you and stuff like that. And I'm like, I'm sorry that happened to you. That really shouldn't have happened. But like, yo, so what made him, what do you think made him cheat on you? You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, like a lot of times, man, I find out that women use sex as a disciplinary action. You know what I'm saying? So, and some guys ain't going for that. So, I mean, and a lot of times that, like you said, that you had to set yourself aside to heal for a little bit. You have to find out what it is in you that made a person want to do that. You know what I mean? If that's you. You know what I mean? If that's you. Sometimes, man, you have to move around that stuff because it wasn't you, it was them.
Okay, I'm glad you said that.
You know what I'm saying? So we have to figure out, we have to find out what it is. You know what I mean? That person might be going through some drama. But what I'm saying basically is that I'm saying that when you get with somebody, you don't have to have all of these things up saying that I don't need you for this because I already got that. So I need somebody with something else or something. I don't know what it is that y'all saying when y'all say I don't need you because I got my own place and I got my own car. Everybody should have their basics. The basics is a car, a job, and a place to stay.
But you would be surprised how many men run around here old and don't have the basics.
And you'd be surprised how many women don't have it.
No, you're right.
It goes both ways.
Yeah.
Not a man against a woman. It goes both ways.
You would be surprised that many people in their 40s and 50s that are just getting licenses or just getting their own apartments. And I'd be kind of thrown because I'm like, what was you doing? Or what you been doing? So I do agree with that, though.
What you bring to the table?
See? That's how you gonna find out.
We got to talk because I'm confused. You know what I mean? But I also think that we also have to not be afraid of just saying to somebody, we're not compatible.
Oh,
Right.
There's nothing wrong with me having a standard you don't agree with, and I decide, you know what, this is just not what I'm looking for. You're a cool dude, but I'm not looking for this as of right now. So
I'm gonna head out.
And that goes both ways. You don't have to pair yourself with somebody that it just ain't sitting right in your spirit to be with. They have too much drama going on. They've got too many walls up, or they're just not going in the same direction you're going in life. And that's not a bad thing. There's millions of people in this world. So we just move on to the next person. But I think we should be able to be okay with the fact of saying we just ain't compatible.
Right.
For whatever reason.
Yeah. But and to go on what you're saying, like many moons ago, you know what I mean? Like I was in the dating world and I started talking to this girl. She was pretty, she had the nice shape and all of that stuff. But getting to know her, it was like with that they used to have a show called Hell Date. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I remember that.
You know what I mean? And then like I had to sit back and say, okay. I chose her just on looks alone.
And we used
Uh-huh.
to do that. We used to do that.
You know what I'm saying?
I was
So
like,
you know what I mean? Like, yo, you're dealing with that, and like especially like coming back to Rochester. I was out there in the dating world, man, and I was like, man, what the hell is going to seem like the men wanted to be women and the women wanted to be men.
you
know
said
what I mean?
seem like
That's how it is now.
That's going on right now.
But I mean, I ain't out there
Right
like that.
now.
Yeah, I ain't out there like that. So what I'm
That's going on
saying
right
is,
now.
and what I found out was like, yo, all right, so I'm dating this woman and she's telling me, well, I'm just shocked because normally most of the guys I date, man, like they take me to work in my car and then ride off and come back later. You know what I'm saying? Be
It's
late,
my baby boy.
late picking me up and shit and all of this stuff, man. You know what I mean? They was acting like I was a brand new nigga because I have my own car and all this shit. You know what I mean? And that's fine. But I'm like, yo, all right, your mindset ain't where I needed to be, even though, you know what I mean? Like, I understand what you wanted, but what I needed, you so far gone because you was still picking. You just wanted, I know a lot of women and some of them even in my family, man, that are married, but they're just married just to say that they're married.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
To
There's
have
a
a ring.
lot of people like that.
I'm like, what the fuck? You grab? Where you grab?
There's a lot of people in our present circle, my circle, like that.
Yeah. And what the sad part about it is, there's such a negative stigma on singlehood. Like being single means something is seriously wrong with you, and you
Mhm.
are just one of those people over there. I didn't pay attention to this until I've spent some time being single and noticing that I even get treated a certain type of way because I'm like, "Ooh, you single?" "Ooh, what's wrong with you?" It's weird. And then when I get around people that are married and in relationships, they're miserable, but they ain't leaving because they don't want to be single. I can't catch single.
Oh, man, I be so you have to bite your tongue sometimes because people be like, "Yo, you ain't married." I'm like, "Hell, you married, but your husband ain't."
Right.
Happy, right? You said your husband ain't. Did you say your husband ain't?
Mhm.
My husband is a married single man looking for
He ain't
love.
married.
They're all over Facebook dating websites.
He was in the same place with me, talking to somebody better than mine.
Yeah,
Mhm.
your husband is single, sis. You're the only one in a relationship. They all over that Facebook dating app. That's why I got off that damn app. It's full of married men.
Ooh,
Yes.
out in the open.
Out in the open. Will literally crop the wife out of the pictures.
Stop
of
it.
the kids. You see the kids and you see somebody probably over there, but the crops are out just to make so we know you got kids.
Now, just imagine when she finally decides to leave him, she's going to have a wall up so high for the next guy. You know what I mean? Sometimes, man, when we finally get somebody that's just right for us, man, we so stuck in the past that we can't even see it. You know what I mean?
Back to what Cecily was saying, how we need to take a look at ourselves, right? And do the work, do the healing,
Yeah.
before we move on. And that doesn't mean that it's going to happen overnight, one, and it doesn't mean that we're going to hit on every aspect, right? Because we all have flaws, regardless. The therapists themselves still have flaws, right? Even though they can point different things out. But yeah, when we're in a dating world, we do have to be able to look at ourselves and take a look at our own flaws. And instead of trying to point out everything in the next person, like Cecily said, if that's not for me, move on. But I also have to look at ourselves, because regardless of who you are, you're going to bring in some baggage. You're going to bring in some hurt. There are going to be triggers, but you have to be accountable for your own triggers.
Right.
I don't know about that because hell, I'm perfect.
I was about to say I don't bring no baggage in. I'm good.
Come on now, you ain't nothing but a foe.
A whole nut job.
Oh my God.
Boy, I'm a worker.
I mean, I got bags inside my bags.
Yeah, I got little makeup bags. I got little glasses bags. I got, man, listen.
Shoot, I got the last of the Walmart plastic bags. I got all kinds of
Nope,
shit.
Family Dollar got them. I got the bags from Family Dollar.
But that's the good thing about having therapy and good friends. Because even when you are dating and you met somebody, there's times that I face certain issues that I don't necessarily tell the person I'm talking to, because it ain't their problem. It's my problem, right? And I got to fix it. And you just the good thing about working on yourself is just constantly being self-aware. That's good.
Mhm.
Some stuff about you is who you are. It ain't going nowhere. You just have to be self-aware of when to use certain things and when not. And that's pretty much it.
But that's what you said, Cecily, is the key. Is like, again, having avenues. So family members, friends, like somebody that can actually call you on your bullshit or hold you accountable, or someone that you trust that you can talk to get a different perspective, or this therapy session that we're doing here, you know,
people if
to
they want
get different perspectives, you know what I mean? So
Right.
it's all a part of it, and that's something that I believe everyone needs and hopefully should have.
Right.
Well, you know what I mean, like I got, y'all know I got daughters, so you know what I mean, and like, you know, they're heavy into the dating world. God help us all, you know what I'm saying? But you know, like you have to be able to settle for some things. Like I use the analogy of when you're going to buy a car, right? It may have a little dent on here, or it may have a little rust on here. But
KP eyebrow just went up. Like, wait a minute.
You
said settle, sir. Wait a minute.
But listen, hold me out. Now, there are certain things that you can't settle for when you're going to buy the car, right? Like you got to have a steering wheel, right? You want to have a steering wheel. You want to have some windows. You know what I mean?
No, that's valid.
You know what I mean? So, but
I have a husband and he's not perfect, so that is very valid.
No,
he has a wife. Although his wife
settle, when I say settle, you know what I mean? Like, you know, you can't, you know, the guy's giving you a good deal on a car, and because it don't have 20-inch rims on it, you don't want it.
I don't.
You know what I'm saying?
That's your need. Certain things you do need.
Right, that's your need. But you need brakes. You can't settle for that. You know, the guy said you ain't got no brakes. No, I'm not settling for that. You know what I mean? The guy said you ain't got no steering wheel. No, I can't settle for that. But if a guy say, hey man, like, yo, it's just got a little tail out, you know, shoot, I could fix that for this price. You know what I'm saying? I can do that. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm talking about. We have
then that's not settling. That's compromise.
Okay. All right. So that's the same thing in a relationship. You're compromising to what you want. You're not gonna get
settling and compromising are not the same thing.
That is correct.
That's why my eyebrow went up.
All right, so give me the difference.
Okay. Okay.
That's correct. Settling means it's something that you want, and you just gonna settle not to have it.
Right. Settling
is rims, but you're gonna settle not to have it.
Settling is this man cheats, and okay, I'm gonna just settle and just deal with it. That's
right.
That's the steering wheel.
No, it's not.
That's a steering wheel that you don't have in the car.
Settling actually means it's something that you need and you settle not to have for it. That's what settling means.
I need someone faithful in
compromises. Okay, I don't really need that. You
compromises.
Know, okay.
He leaves the toilet seat up, and I'm sick of it. But okay, I'm not over him over that.
That's right. It is a difference.
Right.
I see it as the same, but okay, I understand what.
So that's why I don't put it in perspective of an actual thing. The word settling means that it is something that you actually need, but you settle and you're unhappy, you unresolved because you're not getting what you need. That's what the word settling means.
Right.
Whatever.
I would like you to do this, but
no, I actually need you to do this. And because you're not doing it, I am miserable.
We running.
I'm talking about compromise.
We're running dangerously close out of time. We're running dangerously close out of time.
You asked for the perspective of what it actually meant, and I agree with KP. It does definitely mean two different things. Go ahead, sir. As you were.
I'm not gonna debate with y'all on that, even though I don't. I'm gonna live.
You want me to pull out the dictionary?
I'm gonna live to disagree. You know what I'm saying?
No, I got 3 screens.
Because it sounds like we're saying the same thing, but we go.
We're not.
We're not.
We're not.
Okay.
However, let's we're gonna pull this one to a close.
Okay.
This was actually a really good topic. I think we really got pretty deep into this, and I also think we kind of gave some resolve in this as well. So kudos to us. Now we're gonna go into something else. KP, you don't know we're gonna talk about this, and you don't have to say if you don't want to.
You said what?
We're going into something else, another topic real quick.
Okay.
Police shooting. The police shooting that took place last week in Rochester.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I kind of removed myself from these conversations, and I pay attention enough to know what's going on, and then I have to move myself mentally out of it because it pisses me off. There were a few shootings last week that involved children, if I'm not mistaken. One of which was Grayface's son.
Yeah.
And there's no resolve. There's no investigation. There's no movement. From what we understand, the police shooting took place, and within 45 minutes to an hour, they had the shooter. He was indicted.
Yep.
In court, like literally the next day. Problem solved. What is the problem? What's going on?
All right. So my whole problem with that, and I want to say this before we even get all the way into that, man. I want, my prayers and stuff go out to the people that got shot and the person that passed away, which would happen to be an officer of the law.
Absolutely.
My grievances out to the family and everything, but it's really not about them. It's about the energy that the mayor and the police had for a shooting that happened to a cop versus somebody that happened on the street. You know what I mean? There was 40 something other murders that happened on the street that they didn't have that much energy in. And I'm trying to figure out why. You know what I mean? Because some God forbid happens to either any of my friends, family, or whatever, my neighbor. And I know about it, and I'm grieving with them, going to funerals, got t-shirt with their picture on it and all of that stuff. And the cops are basically looking at me like a suspect, or they're not even giving any kind of energy like they did for the other people that got shot, which happened to be a cop. And that is tragic to me because they're the ones that are supposed to protect all of us.
Exactly.
So I can see what happens. So if a kid gets shot, I think that all the cops in the county should be running around here just like they did the rest of it.
And it was a lot of children. Now, I'm not saying that there's that, again, I have respect for all human life. Nobody should have been killed at all last week. Like everything that's happening right now is utterly disgusting and unacceptable. But it was so many babies last week that it bothered me, which is why I had to remove myself from the situation in terms of paying attention to it, because it could have been my kid. It could have been anybody's kid. And I would like to expect or hope that if something happens to one of my kids, you're on it. Like I'm going to want justice as soon as possible, not a funeral. And then this person is still out here and y'all just kind of moving like you don't really like it don't really matter. That's my first issue with that. My second issue is, what exactly is going on in this city with all these doggone shootings? It seems like everything. Like, what is going on in terms of protection for people in those neighborhoods? Like, what? I just feel like everybody wants to put the blame on the mayor. Everybody wants to put blame everywhere. But how do we remedy or try to remedy or affect what's going on? Because this is ridiculous. It's like every time I turn on the news, it's multiple shootings.
Well, you know what it is. You know what I mean? Like it's not just the police. It's just not the mayor. You know what I mean? It's everybody in the community, man. Like, a lot of us, I mean, at least me, know somebody out here that is deranged and out of their damn mind. And we know that they ain't doing what the hell they're supposed to do. And then next week, unfortunately, they end up getting killed. And we run around with their face on their t-shirt as if they were angels, you know what I'm saying, and did all these things like nothing happened. Let's start talking about this before these people die. You know what I mean? I got friends, man, that are in wheelchairs for the rest of their life. I got friends that's in jail for the rest of their life. I got friends that's in the cemetery, man, for a little close to nothing. So
I have a couple of suggestions, and I do apologize, JT, for cutting you off. Go ahead. I wanted to make sure that I got it out before we had to end the podcast for the day. There are several things that actually need to happen that would be beneficial in order for all of this to stop. Higher wages, conflict resolution, and bringing back the village in the community. If we were to pay people not just a livable wage, because I'm sorry, $15 for most people is not necessarily a livable wage. But if we were supposed to pay, if we pay people, especially in corporate America, the nurses and so on and so forth, people who actually have degrees and are entering into the workforce, if we pay them what they should actually be paid, that's one thing. These homes would then not be borderline poverty, so they'd have more money. You wouldn't have kids out here all the time trying to sell drugs and trying to do this and trying to do that. The conflict resolution, that would allow them the opportunity to not want to pick up a gun and take somebody else's life. Learn how to fight, okay? Take that L. Understand that you're not always going to win. And just because you lost this one, that doesn't mean that you'll lose the next one. Stop taking somebody's life just because you don't like that person or whatever they said or how they looked at you and things in that nature. Fight your own battles. Stop worrying about somebody saying something or somebody looking at you a certain kind of way. Learn how to let some of this stuff. That's why I said conflict resolution. We need to teach these children how to do stuff. Resources need to get poured back into the schools, because if they feel like adults don't care about them, then they're not going to care about themselves. And if they don't care about themselves, they're damn sure not going to care about anybody else.
Yep. I do agree.
So,
I was going to add to what you were saying, that there's no resource centers or
right.
any place that these kids can go to like what we had back in the day. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah,
Place they can go.
yeah, we got it from back in the day from our parents. Mainly our mother, which taught us, you know, a lot of the stuff, you know, what we should and shouldn't be doing, and did a lot of the major chastising. But like JT said about the shooting, man, we don't condone no type of police shooting or shooting of anybody. But we would like the same energy as I never seen no police drone. Where's the tank at? And the police surveillance unit they set up and all this for when one of theirs get done over one of ours, you know, and we deserve that same protection.
Yeah,
we do.
Within 24 hours to a few hours. What did they say? 1 hour?
Yeah, about an hour.
Allegedly.
I wanted to also touch on conflict resolution. This is a big one for me. Because not only do children not know it, and we keep saying we got to teach them conflict resolution, but it's hard to do that when their parents don't understand conflict resolution as well. I think a lot of Black people, I'm just speaking for us from what I've seen, we kind of missed the mark when it comes to conflict resolution. Like, we in our 40s and 50s still trying to fight and argue with people, and we haven't learned how to move past things, let things go, process. How do we, I mean, these kids don't have, most of these kids don't have that to look at home. They don't know how to do that at home. They don't have that example. So then, of course, they're not going to go on the street and act like they got some doggone sense. They don't have it at home. Like, if you don't go to a parent and say, hey, this is what's going on, you got the parent ready to jump on you for coming to them about their kids. So I don't know. I just feel like maybe the issue is just a lot deeper.
It is. It definitely is a lot deeper. I think, again, that everything KP said is right on the head. There's not really, there's several different suggestions. There's not really no one thing that's going to fix it all. But you know, start in our household. It has to start in our household first. A lot of parents are not parenting, first of all. And like she said, there's an influx of us that are living in poverty. There's an influx of us that are living in single parents household. There's overcrowding in our schools. We're shutting down schools and we're shoving people. We're shutting down 3 schools and we're shoving these 3 schools into 1 school, right?
Hey, you can't even keep a superintendent.
Well, you know what I mean?
We're talking about the community centers. There used to be a community center in each zip code, right? There used to be 2-3 community centers in each zip code. There was influx of activities for our kids to do. There were things to do all summer long. There were, honestly, even back in the day, there was a lot of activities that were free, you know. So now we have less activities and we're charging 3 times as much, and then these parents are not even making it. They're sending our kids are bored. They're sending them out in the street. You know what I mean?
Well, you know what?
They're
I think-
cleaving to their peers instead of cleaving to activities. They're cleaving
Yes.
to their peers. They're
Yep.
cleaving to the war. They're cleaving to, you know, who's better than, you know what I mean? So it's
Well, you
just
know
not
what I
no
mean?
one answer. It's an complex of everything.
Man, you know what I mean? Like, so I'm gonna piggyback off of what you and KP was saying. I mean, what everybody's basically saying, and I think we're saying it in a different way. And that's the kind of like what I was saying. You guys were saying that the person that I have on my T-shirt, right? I sometimes wonder if I would have said something to them that triggered them to stop doing what they were doing. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of times, man, we know what these people are doing. That, you know, either friends, family, or whatever, neighbor, or whatever, we know. But we don't say enough to get them to go in a different direction. We don't do anything. And then the other thing, man, is like the conflict resolution. We can't wait for anybody else to do it. We have to do something. We have to do something. I don't know what it is. We have to either find out where those community centers went, those different places went, try to get those things open, do something. Because these kids don't have what we had. We had the Eastside Community Center you can go to. You know what I mean? Or we had East High School. They had after-school programs that we can go to. You know, I don't know if all these, I don't know if it came into budget cuts. I don't know what happened. But I know that there's something that we have to do instead of waiting until something happens and then be like, oh, man.
But that's why I said we need our village.
Yeah.
Right.
We need our village. And I don't know what happened to our village. I know when I was growing up in the 80s and the 90s, we had it.
Yeah.
I don't know where it went.
Well, here's the thing, and this is a solution. You know what I mean? Like back in the 80s and 90s. You know what I mean? I couldn't come out. I mean, like, you know, especially in the 80s, I couldn't come out and walk down the street and be smoking a cigarette and cussing, because if my neighbors see me, they tell my parents, and my parents find out. My parents ain't gonna cuss them out for damn sure. They're gonna jump my ass about that shit. You know what I mean? So I mean, like, but get this now. We are our parents. So, you know what I mean? If I can't say nothing to your kid and you can't say nothing to my kid, there's a problem.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's a problem, man, because now, you know what I mean? Like, yo, I'm scared about what you gonna say, and you scared about what I'm gonna say. And guess what? The kids ain't scared of nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm about to log off, but I can tell y'all, I'm not scared of not nan one of these parents. If I see your kid doing something, guess what? I'm gonna say something, and I'm gonna tell them that they know better. And I would hope that the people that know me would do the same thing with mine, because that's just how it's going to be. I'm sorry, I'm a mentor, so in good conscience, I can't look at somebody else's children and just go, No, I'm going to say something.
It starts in your household.
Yes.
So KP, you're a mentor as far as like that's a occupation, or that's something that you do?
Oh, no. I volunteer.
Okay, hey, yo, I'm gonna send you a friend request because I want to get some more information on that, because I want to get involved.
Okay. I don't know if Ken Sayers is still recruiting for OTR. It was through the city. So the mentees that I've had them for several years. So I don't even know if the program is still going. I just know that this is how we got set up, and some of the young girls that they've moved away, but they used to go to my church, I mentor them as well. So it's not like I'm actively out there and being a mentor and things of that nature. I have mentees that I've had for years.
Okay.
And it was through the OTR program when Lovely was still mayor and Ken Sayers and James Waters were still doing the Transformation Rochester, things of that nature. So that's how I originally got hooked up as a mentor.
Well, you know, like, to be honest with you, I had a mentor down at the Urban League, man, back in the 80s. You know what I mean? I had a mentor, and it probably saved my life. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because this guy was like, I come in with my do-rag on. He was like, why you got a do-rag on Tuesday? You want to play basketball or something? Like, yeah, man. He was like, no, I'm not joking, man. What the hell are you doing with a do-rag on, man?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You didn't get up and brush your hair or nothing? You know what I'm saying? So
But that was when they expected something and had standards and wanted us to expect
Yes.
of us.
But
Yeah.
I could be that guy. You know what I'm saying? So when I see that guy, man, when I'm adult now and I see this guy, you know what I mean? I walk up to him and say, man, like, yo, listen, I don't know if you know it or not, man, but you probably saved my life. You know
But it
what I'm
was
saying?
nice chatting with you guys. I gotta go. My daughter's right here.
My daughter.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. Oh, I guess we lost Greg too. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Hey, man, so that was good talk, man. Like, I'm with it, man. You know what I mean? So I'm probably just going to try to figure out like how we can do that. We can grow from this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, from that point, because especially in the group that we hang with, and everybody's predominantly of age, they're working, and I think they could be good mentors as far as you know what I mean, trying to talk to people, man, and giving them a better understanding of, man, like working, being friends, and basically, if you when I was coming up, man, and you got beat out of money, drugs, or whatever, you chalked it up to the game.
So let me also let you know, because JT, because I also am a mentor, you actually brought up a very good topic, because definitely there is a lot of programs out there. If anyone who come across this podcast is interested, come here, Rochester, who I've been involved in is very big. The Urban League still have programs out there, JT.
Do they?
Champion Academy. There's still a program called Big Brothers Big Sisters. So yeah, that's actually a good avenue out there. Like there's a lot of different programs out there that people probably should get to know, and there should be light spread upon them, because they actually are in need of mentors.
Right.
Females too, women too.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like, and it's important, man, because like, we got a lot of people that I be around that are very good at what they do, as far as, going to work, doing, had to get that right state of mind. You know what I mean? And we shouldn't waste it, man, by just, sitting back, because I think it's a tragedy, man, just sitting back and watching all of this stuff going on, and then sit back and act like somebody's coming to save us.
Because they're not.
Exactly. And I think that's what touches my heart, because I am a social worker by trade. It is what I went to school for. I'm not currently active. But these subjects do touch my heart. You know what I mean? I am, advocate. I am, I guess I am a counselor by trade, or, again, I went to school for social work. It's what I did social work for 33 years.
33 years? Damn, how old are you?
Years.
How old are you?
I am pushing 50. You know how old I am.
Old ass.
I have been in social work for 33 years. I've been in the community. I am actually still in the community. You know what I mean? I am actually still actively an elections inspector. You know what I mean? I still attend meetings. I still, and they pay very well for those who looking to be an election inspector. The pay is very good, and it's tax free. But yeah, I am still out in the community, so it starts at home. You have to make it start at home, and then you have to pour it out into the community. And I wish that we had other avenues for our kids to like the olden days, gone are the olden days where we did have avenues and community centers and activities and double dutch and, what you call them, Teddy T programs, summer camp programs. Gone are those days, right? We're actually making kids fend for themselves. Like there is no before and after school program. There is no free camps out there. Well, very limited free camps out there. Like, now everything costs 3 times as much. Back in the day, actually the Y used to be free.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh
you
yeah,
got $300. You know what I mean? So
$600.
one of those programs, and we need those type of avenues in our community. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so I mean, like, I think we need to build on that, man. So I'm gonna stay with y'all on that, man, because I don't have none of those contacts. I don't know, but what I do know is that there's no connection with the people that have the know-how and the people that have the ability to help a lot of people, and we got to connect those people.
The resources.
Yeah.
Right. So that we can get a better neighborhood. And you're right, man. Like every ward from the 19th ward to the 09 to the 10 or
11,
whatever
12,
had something going on.
at
You know what I
any
mean? I
given
went to
moment.
damn near all of them. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? You know what I mean? And
I
had a
was
good time. You know what I mean? And had a good time. And a lot of times, man, like, and that's what I was saying, like, you'll be able, you'll know these kids, man. When I was coaching football, I know these kids when I was only coaching 9 and 10-year-olds and stuff like that. But when they got to the teens and stuff like that, they always still called or stayed in touch with me. I'll be like, hey, coach, I'm in high school now. And then one of them is in the NFL right now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He ain't starting or nothing, but we got
But he's there.
crossed. We got our fingers crossed.
He's there.
But, you know what I mean?
Yeah, we have players that are in the NFL right from Rochester who have rings.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh yeah, shout out Roland Martin.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you know what I mean? Like, and that's the most important. I don't care if you don't make it to the NFL. I don't care
Correct.
if you don't do any of those things, man.
Correct.
As long as we don't make it to jailhouse alumni.
Or the
Correct.
graveyard.
You know
Exactly.
what
Or
I'm
the
saying?
graveyard.
Losing these kids. It's scary for me. It's sad. It's terrible. We're losing these kids. And
Ugh.
and
By the masses.
yeah,
And it's very scary. It's very sad, especially when we have our own kids. It's very scary.
right.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, guys, we are going to wrap this up. Thank you for tuning in. I think this was an amazing conversation.
Hey, we were still live.
I know. We went over our time, guys. Thank
That's
you.
fine.
Then thank you for listening.
Oh, thank you for
Remember to
listening.
like,
Come in.
spread the word.
Yep. So tune in next week.
Please tune in.
Please like and share. Please like and share.
Our contact. Send us topics that you want to hear about, that you want us to talk about, and then also continue to share our feed, and also continue to comment and let us know what you think, because we want to talk about it.
No doubt about it. And if you can reach and teach anybody, do what you can do to do what you do.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Thank you for listening.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
All right.